G'day guys, and welcome to this week's video on my Spud Inc powerlifting belt versus my Xpeed powerlifting belt. So you can see on the left hand side here is the Spud Inc belt, and on the right hand side is the Xpeed leather belt. I'll go through each of their pros and cons, how to put them on, their function, the differences between them also, and what I think about both of them. So just going over a bit about the origin of Spud Inc. It's a powerlifting brand from America, and they do high quality powerlifting based products. So they do belts, and they do straps, and they do all sorts of different powerlifting stuff. So I've known about them for a while, and that's why I decided to get this belt. And I've never had a ratchet style belt like this. This is the only one I know of that has that actual ratchet design. So as you all know, that when you use a ratchet on your trailers at home or on your stuff you need to tie down, you can get it really tight and you can have small incremental changes in the tightness. So this belt really performs in that way. I'm really happy with it. The stitching, as you can see here, has got 6 lines of stitching all the way through it. Heaps of stitching, heaps of protection for you. That ratchet is really heavy duty with a lot of rubber. It feels good on your fingers when you're trying to adjust it, and it just feels like a very solid belt. Whereas the Xpeed belt is made in Australia, it's Australian brand, and it's full leather, outer and inner, double stitched throughout. That logo comes in standard, the same color, the tan leather, but I colored it in with a red permanent texture to customize it a little bit, as Simmply Fit normally does. And it's got the double stitching throughout the back too, with the standard double tongue and prongs for adjustment. So it's slightly different. The adjustment isn't as incremental as a Spud Inc belt, but it's still pretty good. The other difference you can see here is this Xpeed belt is substantially wider in the middle, with that extra bit of padding on the inside of the back part of the belt as well for your lower back. So here's the ratchet system on the Spud Inc belt. You can see it's very high quality, and it's got the rubber inserts on both the top and middle part. That middle part rubber insert comes in really handy when you're undoing the belt. It's got a really high quality feel, and the ratchet system is very solid, and you can make minute adjustments. Comparing that to the double tongued buckle of the Xpeed belt, you can see this is an old school type of belt where you just pull the tongue through, and the double buckles do it up to different increments. Then moving on to the tongues of the belt. So the Spud Inc, as you can see here, has a hardened nylon 20mm tongue, whereas as you can see here, the Xpeed belt has got the full length and width tongue with the double holes spaced 20mm apart for the buckles. The Spud Inc belt measures 10mm thick all the way around, whereas the Xpeed belt is 5mm thick and a little bit thicker in the middle part with the padding. The Spud Inc belt's logo is on a separate piece of material and it's stitched on. The only issue with it is stitched on 3 sides. I don't know why they didn't stitch the top of it also, but it's very solidly put onto the belt. And the Xpeed logo is pressed into the leather itself, and you can see that I've just customized it a bit by coloring it in with a red permanent texture, make it look a little bit different than the others. So comparing how you put both belts on and the adjustment of each of them, here's the Spud Inc belt. You can see you just thread the tongue through the ratchet, and once it's on semi-tight, you can ratchet it up very minutely and make very small adjustments. So I really like it. It gets very tight on you. It doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. The width of the belt feels really good in the midsection there. It doesn't pinch on my hips. And the beauty of it, as you can just see, is you can undo it slightly in between sets, but keep the belt on. So it's a huge improvement on other style belts. And then the Xpeed belt is very similar to most belts you would have seen or used in the gym yourself, where you just pull it to the desired tightness, then loop the tongue back through the double loops. It is really good. You can't get it as tightly precise as the Spud Inc belt, but it is really tight and it is bigger across the lower back there also. One major difference and something you need to be aware of is that the Xpeed belt has a potential for those holes to wear over time, causing it to not function properly or as good as what it should be, whereas that Spud Inc belt with that solid tongue won't have that problem. Looking at the price, there is a bit of a price difference. So the Spud Inc belt retails for $155, whereas the Xpeed lift belt is $60. So it's double the price for the Spud Inc belt. So you look at each of them, weigh up the options of what you like, and then decide. Okay guys, we'll round up the video with a few clips of some exercises that you can obviously use the belts for. So my recommendation on which belt you should get is, if you don't mind spending a bit extra, I really like the Spud Inc belt. I think it just nudges out on the Xpeed belt in terms of the incremental changes you can make to tighten it up. You can really get it nice and tight against your stomach and lower back. In saying that though, for $60, that Xpeed belt is fantastic, being genuine leather, upper and lower and double stitch. So it's really whatever you like and what fits you the best. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a comment if you've got any questions. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell, and tell your friends about it. But until next time, keep flexing.